Hey there. Welcome to Eurostep / GSPN crossover. We kind of just have all the pods here. I'm Ty Windisch, joined not by my usual co-host Rohan Kadi, but instead by the Talk of the Tundra crew, Jordan Treske and Numac. Plan to sit down on this Tuesday night to do a GSPN After Dark, which we're still going to do. We're going to talk about our perfect day. It's going to be very fun. So sign up for GSPN Premium to check that out later. But we got some news that we are going to discuss. Oh,
good news, surely.
no,
Surely,
it's not.
surely it's good news.
No, you guys disappeared for a second. Now you keep disappearing. I don't know what's going on.
Oh no,
that's not great. Well, maybe this will be audio only. We'll see. We'll see. Now you're back. I don't know what's going on.
Jordan and I combined don't equal the beauty of Rohan.
I guess I need to keep my mouse on this side of the screen. I don't know. I'm just not going to move my mouse anymore. This is a bad podcast. Damian Lillard's been diagnosed with deep vein thrombosis. So he is out indefinitely, is the official word at this point, per the Milwaukee Bucks. They were the ones who initially broke this news. Although we did get a report about half an hour after from Sam Amick of The Athletic, along with Eric Dame. I don't know how to cite this. Amick got to tweet it. That a league source says there is a great deal of optimism that Dame will return this season from the deep vein thrombosis. That was surprising because from everything we saw from medical timelines and other players who have had this injury, it's often months, often 3 months. It's a serious blood clot issue. That's what deep vein thrombosis is. It's in Dame's right calf. That ended up being the reason behind, or the source of this recent calf soreness and strain that he's been dealing with. So he's on blood thinners, got to stabilize the blood clot, has to continue regular testing to get back to health and, take care of himself to make sure he remains alive. This is one of those, not just sports injuries, but an incredibly serious life injury. So glad it was caught. Glad that, that it's under control now. I don't know about this season. We'll see. But I told you guys before we started recording, I know what the culprit is for everything that's going on with the Bucks.
Oh, boy. Is this some sort of great Bambino curse you're about to break out here?
Yes, it is. And I think there's a reason that Rohan fled the state.
Oh, no.
Because Rohan said if they win the NBA Cup, the season will be a success. And that is just the ultimate monkey curl statement. And everything since has been a nightmare. So way to go, Rohan Khan.
Nice job, Rohan.
Love you, Rohan, but you might have ruined the Bucks.
The worst Rohan prediction yet.
Ever.
Well, he was right, though.
He was right. But at what cost?
At what cost? Everything. Everything.
Literally everything.
Jordan, I just talked about... Oh, sorry. What were you going to say?
No, it was a joke. Just keep going.
Jordan, just your thoughts. I mean, I know, the West Coast trip has been difficult for us scheduling-wise, but, you were kind of telling me before we started recording, kind of just caught a few games, thought, okay, whatever, tough West Coast trip. And then this bomb comes out of nowhere because I said on the pod I did today, this had kind of been underreported. The fact that Dame was just out with a calf thing that got more serious every day on the injury report. And now we're here. So what was your kind of reaction and just what are you thinking right now?
I think, speaking for all Bucks fans, if I may, we're all used to a shoe dropping around this time, whether that's before the playoffs begin or certainly in recent memory when the playoffs actually are playing and the Bucks are trying to win playoff games, and then Giannis gets hurt, Chris gets hurt. It's 4 years in a row of someone very important to the Bucks and their chances of success getting hurt and being out of action. And obviously this is this, as you mentioned, it goes beyond basketball. It just pertains to living and the scary situation of something like this just coming out of nowhere and having to deal with that. That is ultimately the biggest cause of concern for right now and moving forward for Damian Lillard, because, this is someone that has played for a very long time and you want to see him continue to play basketball and do so at a very high level, but it's just taken a turn. I think with all that said, it is deeply numbing that we are going into the second year of the Giannis Dame era, and both of them have not or will not, because despite whatever optimism is emanating from Pfizer Forum, that side of Milwaukee.
Jordan's challenging the league source.
I am challenging your league source. It is deeply numbing that both of Giannis and Damian Lillard are not going to play a playoff game together.
Yeah. Listen, make it clear you're not breaking news on Giannis' status here.
I'm not breaking any news, but it is just like, okay, like it people are gonna. I know this has occurred in our Discord already, and I know this could be we're gonna wallow in self-pity as Bucks fans of like, why would we even do this trade if it means that we're all these things? And it's like, we don't have to relitigate that. That is just a byproduct of playing basketball and a team getting older and all this stuff. But it is just sucks that we are at this point in the life cycle that we can't even see the two best players on the team play together when it matters the most. That's disappointing.
Well, we saw it in December. I mean, they hoisted the cup.
They did hoist the cup.
It's going to be my phone lock screen for I guess quite a while, unless a non-Bucks thing takes over. Because I don't know when we're going to chase that high again. Numac, as you know, you've been watching some games recently. Obviously, tuning into the Bucks, doing a lot of Packers and draft stuff. Just I don't know. I don't even know if it feels hopeless to me yet. I think numb is a good word. It's just we're so conditioned for this now.
It's deflating.
Yeah.
Like, it's the fourth year in a row now that the Bucks haven't had their star guys in the
fifth year. Oh, okay, star guys. Okay.
Yeah, but like sustained an injury around this time that put a championship title just out of reach.
I mean, if you want to extend it to,
honestly, could go even longer.
If you want to extend it to starters, it's back through 2021.
Right, because Dante was out too.
Well, then even Giannis in the bubble, he didn't finish out the Heat series.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Like, it's just,
was there one in 19?
No, they had everybody. They had
everyone.
Bledsoe, Chris, and Giannis when they lost to the Raptors.
And Jabari was gone already, right?
Brogdon had the plantar fasciitis, but he came back in the Celtics series.
Oh yeah, but limited.
Right.
Limited, yeah.
But it's just like how much, like, 21 is special in all of the ways. It's just like, why can't we get that, not that lucky, but why can't we get like a real second chance is where I'm finding myself as a fan right now. Like, every year since then, something has gone wrong, and through no fault of any coach or any independent, like, individual player. It's just been bad injury luck at the worst times.
Yep.
Yeah,
like,
that was my number one thing. Was there's going to be, I'm sure it already is, a lot of like, you know, how could you stick with that guy? Or the Bucks always pick the injured guys, and it's like, it was a different guy every year, except when it was Giannis. And I don't know about you, I wasn't looking to offload Giannis before any of those seasons, right? Like, but that was it. It was Giannis a couple of times. You know, obviously the whole playoffs last year, and then the few games in the various Heat series and everything else.
Right. And even then, like, in the title year, it took superhuman capabilities to come back from Giannis hyperextending his knee. Yeah. Like, it's
so unless you wanted to offload him, which I would not recommend doing, but Chris once in 22, which still feels like 22 and 19 are always going to feel like if one thing had happened different. Yeah. Those are the best two chances outside of 20. Those were maybe better chances than 21, honestly.
Oh, they for sure were. 100%.
Looking back at that, like, how the hell did they ever? I mean, Jesus. The Nets, I guess, could be saying the same thing when you look back at injuries, except it was just all in 1 year instead of spread out because they weren't good for enough years. But, Chris once, and they offload him this year. You know, Dame a little bit last year, but still played in the games. But without Giannis playing, it didn't really matter. Like, and then Giannis, like, I don't know what you could have done better. I think your point is right, and I think that doesn't mean I'm saying bring back Horst and Doc. Like, things have not looked great overall in the aggregate this season. but there is a bit of like, who even knows fully how good any of these teams were? Because we just never got to see them.
That even goes back to Bud, like when they fired Bud. Like it's what do you do?
2022, I think like they had a team more than good enough that year.
Yeah,
that feels very clear.
Yes.
Then 23, 24, and now probably. I mean, we'll see if I don't know. But if someone cures deep vein thrombosis in the next week or however this is supposed to go, 25 as well. It's just like we don't even know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think this team was good enough, but it was like we had the same line, right? Like, oh, they have a puncher's chance,
right?
You got Damian Giannis, like maybe, and now it's like not even maybe. Like we really just will not know.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Is just it sucks not knowing because there's just things outside of our control. Like at least as a fan, you can get closure that in the past 3 years they weren't like if they outside of injuries, if injuries hadn't happened, we would be able to say, oh, they just weren't good enough. Oh, like we went through the entire playoffs and lost. Here's how we can address the changes that plagued us in the playoffs and build upon that team. That's been the biggest detriment to the year since the title is that they haven't been able to really test what their team looks like. Because Chris has been out, Giannis has been out, then Chris again, and then Giannis again.
Not just Chris once.
Chris once. My apologies to Chris. And it's just like, what do you do when you're left playing the what if game every summer?
Well, the big question this one will be, how much is it up to them?
Yeah.
I mean, most first team All-NBA perennial players do not like going home in the first round 3 straight years. If that is what happens this year, I mean, you never know. We get a lot of basketball to be played, and I don't want to be the fear monger guy, or I'm certainly not reporting anything either, but players don't like doing that. Players like to win playoff series and go deep and feel like they have a well-built team around them. So I would certainly imagine, unless, again, I don't know, Dame is riding a bike to games. Maybe all the playoff series are regionally close enough. I don't know if you can fly it. I don't know what he's on the West Coast now. That's got to be a little tricky, actually. But regardless, maybe they figure it out. Maybe they shock the world. I mean, their chances now. It already felt like it would a very small chance that they could even like get to the conference finals at this point. Like before this Dame news, now it's like, God, win the first round series. That would feel like a real accomplishment. Whether it's the Pacers, the Pistons, or the Knicks, but yeah, it's just it's going to be an explosive summer. That's what I was going to say. I think I'd be very surprised if next year we got Damian Lillard. Torian Prince, Kyle Kuzma, Giannis, and Brook Lopez starting games to start 2025-26. I mean, what are the chances? Right now, Jordan Treske, what is the percentage chance that in October 2025, we're watching Bucks Bucks Nets feels like an opening night, and those are the starters?
2%.
I was going to say like 1% or less.
Just like milk.
Nice. Yes.
Give it a vitamin D % chance.
Skim percent. Yeah.
Skim it. I mean, there's obviously the long term. Like we were talking about pre-pod, like this almost assuredly makes the Bucks a 60, which lines them up against the Knicks, who they have not played well at all against this year.
Last chance to win on Friday, baby.
That's true.
The decimated playoff preview.
I guess we'll
Knicks,
get it.
No Brunson, Bucks, no Dame. Woo! This is, by the way,
which is, to be fair, the Knicks are kind of going through their own. As you mentioned, Brunson's out, but they've also gone through their kind of, whether it's kind of this late season malaise, malaise.
The minutes are adding up.
Yes,
as they
Michael Bridges
do.
Like, please, Tom, please don't play us anymore.
I still love. He's like, these bench guys deserve it. His like legs falling off. He's like, these bench guys. Campaign deserves it, Tom.
It's just like the short term effect of like we're going through this. How do you recover? How do you bounce back? Like there is still, as much as this team is defined by ebbs and flows this year, there is still fight. There is still reason to believe that like there is competitive, like they're competitive. They can put together a good series, and like as much as it's a, we're hoping that Damian Lillard is ultimately healthy. Whether that ultimately means that his first game is in October, or if he by some miracle plays in the next 4 to 5 weeks. And that might be pushing it.
Yes. I don't know what game he's going to be playing in there. The Cancun beach volleyball games.
I still think there's something about seeing Giannis play an actual playoff game healthy that would still like stir me to be like, at least I'm seeing that. Like, I know we're kind of in clutching for any straw at this point because like, my vision or ultimate like ceiling with this team is that if they won a first round series, I could go, yeah, they're trending in the right direction. They're not a contender to beat, the Celtics, Cavs, and, go a little further down Knicks level. Yeah. But winning a playoff series after the last 2 years and how that happened would be an accomplishment, especially with how this season even started. But it does feel like Giannis could do something like he did in that Kings game, that third quarter, where he just goes takeover mode. They're down in double digits. They end up winning that game. That's like the best case scenario. And that means that they have to play their best game all across the board. And I just, it's obviously just a tough task to ask them to do that in a playoff series, regardless of what the next, 11 games look like. So, I don't know. A lot of conflicting emotions, obviously.
Yeah, it's Numac. We need to see this would be like an MLB team would go and win the World Series after this happens. Can we just get an MLB style playoff run in the NBA? Like, was it Soto who missed the?
Who is our Nick Foles for the Eagles?
Yeah,
Nick
Foles comes in.
I don't even know. I think Nick Foles is the right comparison. Like it's.
It's like David Freese comes out of nowhere for the Cardinals and is like the best player in the series for 7 games somehow.
Yeah.
The other sports have this. Basketball just really doesn't. Like Big Shot Rob, I guess, but that was over his whole career. It wasn't just once.
Yeah. Honestly, it would have been if the Heat won the title against the Nuggets.
That would have been
Caleb Martin.
What'd you say?
Caleb Martin.
Kinda
if they were anywhere near competitive in that Nuggets series.
Yeah, I mean, he should have won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP that year. So I guess the Heat can do it. Can a non-Heat team do that? Is the question.
It's a good question.
It's going to be really important.
It takes a really good coach. It takes a really good coach.
We got 15 on the staff.
Yeah, I don't know if one equals a Spoelstra in his prime. That's just annoying, but yeah. But I think I'm never going to count Giannis out because Giannis is superhuman. It's just tough to see.
He's got to get through the next 11 games.
Yeah,
he's got to get through the next set of games.
Questionable for Wednesday night in Denver with a foot sprain, by the way. So
lovely.
Great.
Which is a new injury.
Yeah. Yep. It looked like he suffered it during the Suns game.
Lovely. But it's just tough. That's the brunt of it. And if all the role players come live at the right time, I think there's a puncher's chance, like you said. But you're just hoping they would just need everybody else to step up and finally carry their weight and for it all to come into cohesion all at once, all the perfect time. Because we've seen good spurts of Kyle Kuzma. We've seen good spurts of Gary Trent Jr. He's been good most of the year. Taurean Prince, same thing. Kevin Porter Jr., same thing. Ryan Rollins, same thing. AJ Green, I think
you better figure it out, man.
Better figure it out, dog. Love AJ Green.
Stanley Umude is coming.
Yeah, but it would just take all of those guys catching on fire for 16 straight games, more like 26 straight games.
16. They could just 4 sweeps works for me.
I mean, it worked for me too, but I like to have somewhat of a reality-based
Realism.
argument here.
I will say the one, if you want to say silver lining, is just big opportunities everywhere.
Hey, you got Bobby coming back.
Great. Okay. Well, there goes the silver line.
I had the same reaction.
It's a body. It's a body Portis.
It is a body. It's a body Bobby. But it's a big opportunity for all of these guys, especially the perimeter guys, though. Like Bobby coming back will help. They need more bigs, too. I mean, they're really short at big right now.
Yeah.
Like Ryan Rollins may just be now the starter for the rest of the year and playoffs. Like, what an opportunity for him. Who was like, are they even going to sign him? Is he even going to be around? And suddenly could be going into free agency without a guaranteed contract next season and yet starting for a team with Giannis in the playoffs. We'll see if he remains in that role, but big opportunity for him. And also, like, I still think Trent should be starting. I don't care about bench groups. They need to be better with starters.
I think at this point,
they have to.
Everything really should just be reset. Like, you're not going to have an
opportunity to.
And
Doc Rivers, the stock price will continue to plummet until morale improves.
Yeah,
it's not the only stock price.
It's going to be a while then.
Yeah,
I think I would do Rollins, Trent, Prince, Giannis, Brook.
Yeah.
I just don't like the spacing with Kuz and Lopez that much. I don't know. I would be open to Rollins, Trent, Kuz, Giannis, Brook. I would be open to Trent.
Are you ready
Prince.
for point Kuz?
I would be ready for Trent.
The
Prince.
best point Kuz since Bob.
Oh my god! Nice. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what they do. We'll see if they just maintain full status quo, with the the Rollins Prince unit. I mean, you could just go full Giannis at the point to try and help your spacing, and he's bringing the ball up. If you want to start Kuz too, like Brook in space, Kuz is in the dunker, or vice versa, and there's 2 shooters like Giannis, Prince, Trent, Kuz, Brook. I guess is interesting. I don't know.
The G unit.
The G unit. But yeah, they got games left. I mean, AJ Green, really, dude, gonna need some threes made. Gonna need you to make some threes, man.
He needs to do it fast, and I'm not encouraged because he looks broken.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many defensive possessions last night during the Suns game that you'd watch him play, and he'd look, like, dejected trying to cover Devin Booker.
The whistle has gotten to him.
I think has really got
possessions on KD. He had 2 good late on KD, but that's been his MO lately.
I think I forget, it was late in the game, but he closed out on somebody in the corner, and it was not lazy, but like he got there a little late. He got there, put his hand up, put his head down, and it drained it, and he just, like, you could tell, like, his body language. Thank you.
Yeah.
Not think of the word. Body language was horrendous. Which, like, I don't blame him. He's having a tough year, but, like, you got to pick it up.
Sometimes I wonder if his haircut is just like, it makes him look more negative sometimes.
Yeah. I know.
Not a phase tie.
It's kind of like a rocker, like.
It's the Johnny Lawrence face.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
Karate Kid.
Oh, okay.
Is that when a movie I haven't even seen, but I know his face is just very like.
Yeah. It's like an edgy kind of cut. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
I think his Broken Bat Brewery appearance will help him. He's a man of the people. AJ.
He does. He likes to pour those beers.
Green light.
Yeah, but the problem is he was out for a while after that.
You think he poured too many brewskis? And
I think he took a spill. One too many. Regardless, it's just there's a lot of guys need to step up for.
KPJ is a big one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talking about opportunity.
I mean, and you talk about.
Would you start him? Would you start KPJ?
Not with Kuz and Brook.
No.
Then he just is. I mean, I don't know. I guess he's shooting like 45% lately as a Buck, so maybe he is a spacer now. I don't know if I fully buy it.
Right. I think like part of
I think he'll have a shot at it though. Jordan.
I do wonder. I mean, because they clearly have trusted him to shepherd bench lineups, and he has given juice that way. I do wonder whether it's now or more so playoff time, where they're just like, screw it, we're gonna lean fully into Kevin Porter Jr. and I think that with so much lack of ball handling, not named Giannis on this roster, and obviously in light of Dame's injury, I worry about having two guys that need the ball in their hands to be on the court for more than like 10 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
But the name of the game is to have your best players on the floor, and where the roster's at, Kevin Porter Jr. and Giannis are going to be playing a lot of time together. So trying to get that down will be like a C-level version of David Giannis, but it's at least something that they can manufacture.
I think you talk about KPJ shepherding bench lineups. I feel like half the time that he's, not to like demean your point, but like that he's quote unquote shepherding bench lineups is him just saying it's Kevin Porter Jr. time.
Oh yeah, it's
so
it's
much
awful.
ISO ball.
It's really awful. Like
it's bad.
I'm not like, when it goes down, it looks good. Like he's got like this herky jerky game.
Yeah.
We're only talking about Kevin Porter Jr., the basketball player.
Yeah.
But when you see him play, it's like, oh, like he's an NBA player. He has an NBA skill set. But like, it could be like, you're dribbling too much. Oh, you just dribbled off your foot. Like you're gonna it's literally ride or die with Kevin Porter Jr. And it can go back and forth easily.
If they start him, he's got to look more like the triple-double KPJ from a couple weeks ago, where in that game he was just hunting out passes as much as or more than shots. I don't think you can start him if he's going to be like, 9 shots, 9 passes, not assists, total passes, KPJ, which we get sometimes, which I think don't have necessarily a problem with. Like when he's on, go ahead, like that. But that's why I like him in the bench role, and I think you can bring Trent into the starting 5 because you've got your designated guy with that second unit to just say like, all right, we just need like 3 possessions, just go do something, and he will. Like he's gonna get to a look. I mean, maybe he'll turn it over on the way, but he can create that look for himself. Trent sort of can, but honestly, KPJ has that skill set more than anyone not named Giannis who's left.
Yeah,
right.
I guess I would say probably more than Kuz too.
Part of your silver lining, Ty, that goes back to our question earlier about percent chance of the starting lineup next year. Opportunities for guys to show out and really make cases. That's almost like a bad thing for the Bucks because they can't afford those guys if they show out.
Well, actually, they can afford like 1 or 2 of them next year.
They're not as
fair.
They're gonna have some flexibility post Chris trade, depending on a couple things, but like they should at least have an MLE now.
That's fair. I like that. But part of that thing is like Gary Trent has been like the best out of all of them this year. Like him, Torian Prince, KPJ, AG Green, who's under contract for another year if I'm not mistaken. But all these guys, right?
Yeah.
KPJ, if I didn't say him, and he'd be like the most important one to keep, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Also, I just had a realization. We might see more Pat now.
Pat.
I could have used him over AJ. At least he's not going to run into Giannis on the last play of the game.
Yeah.
You can give Pat that much. He knows where to go.
Ajax.
I just don't think they can afford. Well, that's the thing with Pat too. I mean, Pat's not really shooting right now. The spacing is just bad right now.
Yeah.
Doc's gonna have to be very thoughtful in not running these guys into the ground. Like Burke played 41 minutes.
He can't.
Can't
do it.
I think it's not a silver lining to say fall back to 6 to face New York and play a playoff series in MSG, which is real. But their fate is sealed, really. Like they can still play good enough ball that they can maybe have an advantage over the Pistons. And when the season comes down to 2 final games against Detroit, and if they lose those games, it's like, well, why would we go, somewhat all out just to lose those 2 games and then be in the place that we didn't want to be in the first place? So it's like, do you kind of game it where you're going to be like, we can't afford any more injuries. We can't afford to lose what little left that we had to possibly win a playoff series, and just kind of, all right, we're going to take it easy with Giannis. Like obviously with this new, injury that popped up after the Suns game, or kind of get everybody else on the same page where they have some confidence going into the playoffs I don't know. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but I just think things are just going to be trending towards that they are going to be the 16th regardless. And there's enough of a gap between them and the Hawks, if that happens, that I don't feel incredibly worried about them falling into the play-in round.
No, I think that's almost impossible at this point. So yeah, it's I speculated yesterday, I think, that they may punt and now Dame will be out regardless. But if you rest Giannis now, just Giannis, the last two Pels games, there's no back-to-backs left. The Pelicans are on either side of both of their remaining back-to-backs. So that I already thought made sense, to maybe you can win those games anyway. The Pels are atrocious this season and trying to lose. They just lost to the Pistons without Cade and gave up like 136 points. So maybe you can go 1-1 in those games and then, not play Giannis any backs-to-backs the rest of the way. I don't know how real this injury is, this foot thing. I mean, he's on the report, questionable. It's something. There's a solid chance he doesn't play Denver. That's a little complicated by the fact that Jokic is questionable or doubtful for that game. So it's like suddenly okay, potentially a very winnable Denver game, but still in Denver, still the end of a road trip. I still get it if they want to rest him in that game, and I would try to not play Brook very much at all and give him a day off some of these times as well.
Yeah.
The problem then, though, is if you give Giannis and Brook the day off, Kyle Kuzma, Andre Jackson Jr., your starting center in that game. I mean, Pete Nance. People call for Pete Nance like he is like Boogie Cousins from a couple years ago, by the way. He's not even a center.
No.
He's just a tallish guy.
I have no opinion on Pete Nance. I'm sorry.
Imagine if Larry Nance was worse, but cheaper.
Is he George Niang?
Worse than that, too. Sorry, Pete Nance, if you're listening.
I don't even know. Like,
2
years ago, Tobias?
No. That would be great right now.
I think it's even better than George Niang.
Yeah, you're going in the wrong direction. Big minivan guy here. His other nickname is actually better. They call him the G-Wagon.
G-Wagon. G-Unit to G-Wagon.
Yeah.
I'm sad, man.
Yeah.
I said it earlier, I'll say it again. It's just deflating.
Yeah, I'm going to invest in some Ryan Rollins stock and hope he just becomes Dame Light, and maybe we can go from there, but
perchance,
doesn't seem great.
Where could I find some optimism in the basketball world, Ty? Like, could I watch other games, watch other players perhaps, and pick a game perhaps to watch, or pick a player perhaps to watch? Brother,
I'm not getting what you're laying down.
I'm trying to send you a layup for a free Prize Picks ad.
I mean, it was a serious pod. I was gonna hold off, but since you mentioned our good friends at Prize Picks, you can download the Prize Picks app today in the link in our description and use promo code Eurostep to get $50 when you play $5 for the first time, win or lose. And to your point, Numac, forget this cursed sport. The first day of a baseball season, as I meant to say, is what everyone calls that, for the Milwaukee Brewers is Thursday.
That's right.
And in true baseball fashion, ESPN at 3 p.m., which is the prime time for a big sports event.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say, put your phone down for a couple days, cope, see what the hell happens in Denver, and then let's go with some baseball. Let's go with some collegiate basketball, maybe a less cursed sport. A lot of fun games on the men's and women's side. Although, actually, women's college basketball also cursed. Get well soon, Juju Watkins.
That was so sad.
That was incredibly sad. Still a lot of stars in both tournaments left, though.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get on the action at Prize Picks for all of those great sports going on, and I guess pro basketball if you're still into that. The Ryan Rollins, the KPJ of it all, Torian Prince threes, whatever you're looking to do. Check out Prize Picks. Download the app today. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and hopefully win. But again, if it's your first time, you get $50, win or lose. First time you play a $5 lineup. Just use code Eurostep. Download the app right now. Go do it right now. I mean it. In the link in our description on audio or video, Prize Picks, run your game. Thanks for doing that, Numac, but I got nothing left for the pod. So this is an ad read at the very end. For the true diehards, should download Prize Picks because you made it all the way to the end of the episode.
That's right.
Jordan, do you have anything else?
No, I don't have much of anything else. I mean, we'll see how it is, but I just if we just see Giannis play playoff basketball, I guess that is some.
That's the new bar.
That's the new. Also, if we do play the Knicks, there's a good chance all their players just fall apart too. The way Thibs runs them into the ground.
Yeah, we just have can the Bucks just replicate the Pacers playoff run from last year?
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Or was it the Pacers? No, the Celtics, I guess, had the more injury luck, right?
Kind of.
Or no, it was the Pacers. The Knicks guys died against the Pacers and the Bucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Porzingis was out too, but it just didn't matter enough.
Just didn't matter.
What do we got? We got Eric Name?
I'm just scrolling. There's a lot more.
I'm just scrolling.
Oh, the story's been updated. I wish I could click to my other tab.
A lot of how they discovered his
deep vein DVT,
the pain and discomfort.
Yeah, according to the league source,
visit with 5 of the top hematologists in the United States, either in person or via Zoom.
Jesus.
Jeez, wow.
Each specialist received his MRIs and sonograms as part of the process. Jesus Christ, man. Wow.
But
yeah,
I guess we should say Horst says via a report, didn't talk to him personally. Damian's health is our number one priority. We will support him as he moves through this weekly process of strict criteria to ensure it was safe for him to return to play. Doctors have indicated this situation is very unlikely to occur again. We are thankful this was identified and medicated quickly. And then Dame said, by the way, The Athletic, kind of shady. So this is a quote from Chris Haynes, I'm pretty positive, which The Athletic says Lillard said through a spokesman.
Is
that shots
crazy?
Fired? I mean, that's a reporter. I mean, you can be mad that you don't get anything from Dame because it all goes to Chris Haynes first, but that is called reporting, my dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is exactly what goes on. I'm not going to, not per The Athletic, per Chris Haynes, not a spokesman, the host of Haynes Brief. Damian Lillard, to me, on his diagnosis, it is important that I'm Numac in here. I can't speak at your speed. Dame to Chris Haynes, reporter. It's unfortunate that something outside of my control would come up. Along with the Bucks medical staff, our priorities are to protect my health and safety. As much as I love basketball, I need to be there for my kids and my family. I'm grateful the Bucks acted quickly on this. They've been supportive and proactive throughout this process. I look forward to moving past this and continuing my career. So I guess nice that everyone's on the same page. You know, it doesn't seem like they're rushing him back, but then some league source is like, yeah, he'll be fine this year. So I don't know, but whatever.
Let's hope that the Bucks playoff run is not sponsored by Haynes Briefs.
It has been in the past, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
We also, in other Dame news, before this, much less important Dame news, I don't know if you guys saw this, Haynes report, another Haynes brief is that Dame, Giannis, and Doc all met to fix the offense, which it's just like another sad twist of the knife. We're never going to see what they decided.
That happened
after the Warriors game.
After the Warriors game, which, between that and the next game, which that was the first game Dame missed.
Right.
Yep.
So I bet they had some great ideas. But was this Amick too who interviewed Giannis today?
Yes.
I think it was a fun little Giannis interview where he said they're not title contenders, which I don't know if he meant to say that. Yeah, I know Amick's the good one, but I just couldn't remember. They have other people too.
Listener, I held up my phone to the screen that has Sam Amick equals good and Sam Amick
making a lot of enemies
equals
media
bad
enemies on this pod.
on Bart Simpson's hand.
Amiko's going to be, or whatever you said, is going to be mad at us. The Athletic, I kind of called out, so we're making a lot of enemies here.
Fine.
I'll call out Pat McAfee.
Yeah, you're called out Pat Mac there.
I'm friends with all media people. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's not true. But So Chris Haynes reported the other day that Giannis, oh my God, there's so many media people involved in these reports right now. So Sam Amick asked Giannis about Chris Haynes' report about the meeting. And Giannis just says, who goes and tells people this? And then basically said, like, whatever, we had a meeting, we talked, it's fine, not a big deal. So people are speculating, of course, on Twitter that it was Dame who said this, which Giannis asked, who said this? Dame quote tweeted one of those people and said, SMH, the way y'all's fingers point this way, getting crazy. Before any of this news broke, but
Yeah.
didn't say it wasn't him.
I thought it was the guy from The Atlantic.
Somebody actually accidentally invited Chris Haynes to the Doc Giannis Dame group chat.
Not an accident. But yeah, Dame is tired of getting blamed for.
I think they're all just tired of the media circus. Like it's been a lot since Dame's come, right? Like
he should not go to a bigger market than Milwaukee or Portland if this is a media circus.
No, well, I mean, right, not necessarily a circus in the general sense, but like the nature of just how media covers Milwaukee and the Bucks, right?
I don't think that's a Bucks thing. I think it's a highly specific example to Damian Lillard, who, if we're being very honest, Chris Haynes is very tight with the Bucks.
Just did a podcast.
They did a 4-part podcast series hosted by Chris Haynes called The Damian Lillard Story. He's covered him for years, and it's like, oh, who is reporting sensitive information about the Bucks team meeting after a bad loss against the Warriors on a nationally televised game? It's Chris Haynes. Who would that information be coming to, given the 3 major people involved? I don't know.
It could totally be Giannis as well, though.
Yeah, like I think because you're gonna. The first move is to deny everything.
Yeah,
and
which that could have been Giannis's quirky little like, who's reporting that?
Who's sharing? What? Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it matters, to be clear. It's just that.
No, it when I saw that to begin with, I was like, yeah, of course there's going to be a meeting after things are kind of slipping away and things are, this is where they're supposed to be playing their better basketball. Like it just kind of goes
less explosive than the Stotts meeting.
Yeah. Chicken parm everywhere at that Olive Garden. I don't know why. For some reason, in the time since, I've made it like an Olive Garden in Oklahoma City, but I just think it's funnier than it's them having them. Anyway, but yeah, I just didn't. It's like, yeah, they're pissed off about getting their pants beat, like that way. I don't know.
The initial report was like, it was very constructive. They all shared ideas. Like, it was not exactly
I think the
blockbuster.
The other thing too is that Chris Haynes is like, this is a very dire time for the Bucks. This has been your Haynes brief, and everyone's like, what? What?
Turns out he was right.
Yeah. He didn't know the deep vein thrombosis just coursing through Damian Lillard's veins.
Yeah. Well,
it all seems so simple now.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a wild summer. I mean, it just feels like almost in any circumstance, like something or some things major are gonna give. I don't know. I'm not trying to wind horse like I know KD's gonna get traded or something, but I mean, it just feels obvious, right? Like, there's so many key stakeholders across the org who are just not doing well enough. So we'll see. Okay, now I think I actually am now out of Bucks thoughts.
Me too. Jordan, you got to play Rohan. Do the outro.
Oh. Thank you for joining us on this latest Euro step.
Wow. It's like a fireside chat.
Thank you to Ty for hosting. Thank you to Numac for joining. Thank you to me for joining as well. Hopefully things get better with the Bucks, and we're not talking about dire news or dire results or dire straits in the weeks to come. Thank you to Blue Wire.
Oh,
thank you to
the sponsor. The sponsor.
Thank you to Prize Picks.
it's like an Academy Awards speech.
Thank you to everybody that listens to our little GSPN family. Thank you, and good night, and good luck.